Merkley.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. If I understand right, you said you have not met a single nuclear company that is, hold on a minute. Though I have all those over 60 sometimes have a little technical problem. That is talking about the importance of public funding. Is that right?
Wait, say it again. Sorry, Senator
That
Merkley.
you said you have not met a single nuclear company that is talking about the importance of public funding?
No, I think I may have been unclear, but what I responded to was I don't know of any nuclear company that said to me or anyone in our department, hey, you're pulling back, we're less likely to invest. I've been talking to everyone who will listen and everyone who visits about how we can work with nuclear companies to get things going, to help their project in all different avenues. Okay. In fact, I think we've been called the most constructive administration with the nuclear industry ever.
Yeah. So I just wanted, if that had been your statement, it seemed out of sync with the fact that just this month, the state of the nuclear energy industry was one of the platforms that was hyper-focused on federal policies and programs that expand nuclear generation, an event that you had attended. So that does fit then.
I've attended a number of nuclear events. One of them was yesterday or the day before. Is that the event you're talking about?
Well, I was just trying to clarify because I think maybe the way it came out of maybe you had phrased it didn't seem consistent with the record, but I think you've clarified it. Thank you. So, because I know, for example, one company that was founded in Oregon has really advocated for public funding for the SMR, the NuScale company, and they've got a lot of funding over time to help them get through the nuclear regulatory process. Turning to the challenge in my state, I have a small school district in Mosier, a tiny town in the Columbia Gorge that has a 100-year-old building, and they got a grant to be able to redo their HVAC system. And they were very excited. It was actually a small school often doesn't have a grant writer. They didn't have a grant writer. The parent of one of the students wrote the grant, so for them to be one of only 24 schools that got this was like a whopping big deal of celebration. You can imagine the problems with a 100-year-old school, asbestos and so on and so forth. And so then with the change of administration, they were first told that the funds were frozen, and then they were told they're not frozen, but they then couldn't reach a point of contact on how to proceed. And I know you've let go a lot of staff, but so there was no way to, like, how do we go forward? And then they proceeded to hear that, okay, they did reach a contact, and they were told that a final decision hasn't been made yet. And then they were told that they have to get DOE to approve their contractors. And so it's like one step to another of just a complete bureaucratic nightmare over the last 3 months. And can you have your team get these contractors approved and let this school get their project done?
Senator, absolutely. Well, we will check into that right away. You know, we're here to serve the communities and serve the businesses of the country. So I'm not familiar with this story, but if you've marked, hopefully one of my staff has written down the name of the school, and we'll dive onto it. And
we'll get you a whole page on it.
Thank you.
Because the contractor was ready to go. The school that didn't have much money has already done upfront costs, are just hanging out there. It's a mess. And one of your staff members can hopefully, like, okay, done. You've got a responsible contractor. You're free to go for it. A second, in Frontier, Oregon, which is the term we use for even more rural than rural, we have a grant school district. It's a school district that includes John Day, a town that just lost its lumber mill, one that Senator Wyden and I had strived for years and years to keep open through a special agreement for the delivery of logs. Unfortunately, the owner wants to retire. They're tied up trying to figure out the transition. But here's the school district, and it is also stuck in kind of a crazy space. So without taking up your time with all the details, Grant County School District, the school district, Can we get someone on your team to work with them to clear this up and let them, it's also an HVAC issue.
Yes, Senator, thanks for raising that. Thanks for raising that. Sorry for their experiences.
So I wanted to turn to Bonneville Power Authority. Bonneville controls dozens of dams, huge amount of electricity. They have to integrate wind energy, solar energy. Meanwhile, on the Columbia River, they got the challenge of enough water for the barges to take the wheat to market. They got a challenge of the salmon. I mean, it's one of the most complicated. Am I past 5 minutes already?
No, but that's okay.
Can you give
Everybody
me
else is
another
gone
moment?
over.
Okay.
You go ahead and go over too.
All right, thank you. So they had a bunch of people fired who were probationary, and we said, "Oh man, this is such a complicated area, and they need these employees." And some of them, I think 80 were rehired, but we haven't gotten exact numbers. But then we had lost 200 in the first buyout. Another 160 have taken the second buyout. Maybe that you haven't approved those yet. Here's the thing. This is such a complicated system. We were really stunned by this whole initial firings and the first buyout, because these are really experienced people doing really complicated systems. And so was there careful analysis beforehand of the challenges they would face with the strategy of the buyouts?
With the buyouts, we have a clause that we need to approve them, and I think we've tried not to approve any in the power marketing administrations because they were shorthanded when we arrived in this administration in. So they've been voluntary programs. We have not. They should not have been even extended the offer. They were probably extended the offer the second go round, but that the hope is not to lose more people from there.
Well, I was surprised in the hearing last week with Dan Newhouse that your response was you had just recently heard about their shortage. And this is such a complicated system. I encourage any strategies of buyouts or firings to do the analysis up front, especially when so many experienced people are needed to keep the grid functioning and the water level right and the salmon rules followed and et cetera. In such a system.
The dams are critical. Bonneville is critical. I agree, Senator.
Thank you. And by the way, they're still under a federal hiring freeze, which is handicapping their ability to fill in the expertise that they need to replace the people who took the first buyout.
We will look into that.
Thank you.
We will look into that.
Senator Murray, do you have anything else?
I just have a couple comments. You have heard from my side, one after the other, of contracts that were canceled